Good morning. Welcome back to Animation Dingle and to the first workshop of the day. My name is Circus Scully. I am the Animation VFX and Game Skills Coordinator in Screen Ireland. And on behalf of Screen Ireland and Animation Dingle, I want to thank Borja España for sharing his time with us this morning. Borja has been the art director and development creative at Jam Media for over 13 years. And he is responsible for overseeing many of the aspects of the creative process, from pre-production, conceptual ideas to production-ready final designs. This morning, Borja is going to be taking a look at the key basic fundamentals of character design for animation. So thanks again, Borja, and I'll hand over to you.
Hello, here I am. So, hello everybody, I'm Borja. And this is the workshop. Let me, sorry, I need to share a screen first, obviously. This is going smoothly, as you can see. And now we are, yes, there we are. Hello everybody again, and welcome to this character design workshop. I don't know if anybody else was last year, but we're going to be following pretty much the same kind of style of workshop. It's going to be quite different, but we're going to be looking at the simple key elements of animation character design. As you all know, probably you have already your students or your professionals or whatever, but you all know how long it takes to animate a character, how difficult it is, and how many drawings or how positions, etc. A character has. So it's very important to start with simplicity, and basic shapes are quite paramount when you're starting doing your character design. So, as you can see here, we have silhouettes of characters, and they are all completely recognizable. That's the silhouette, the outline is something that's quite not overlooked when people design characters, but it has a huge impact on the quality of the design. So let's start with simple shapes. You can see here this character design has started designing, and in the top row you have very simple shapes: square, a circle, a triangle, and with those the artist has worked out a character, with the basic shapes. Then as you can see in the row below, he's just choosing the triangle and then start playing with those shapes to give him some rhythm, to give him some life. Here's another example of the first exercise we're going to do. It's again the three basic shapes: triangle, circle, and square. And the theme obviously is the witches. You can see here how your design changes when you choose a shape. Different shapes help to describe, basically create and describe different properties. Rounder, normally they're more overweight, they're more slow. Angular, they're faster, they're sharper. So as you can see, that it's not just grabbing the shape and just drawing eyes on it. It's just creating the basis of your design on a simple shape that then will be much easier to animate. So we're going to start with the exercise 1. So you choose one of the basic shapes, and you have to design a pirate. So we're going to give you 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes you just choose the triangle, the square, or the cycle, and you're going to design me a pirate. Okay, so start now. I'll give you 10 minutes and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I'm going to put the countdown now, and you have 10 minutes. That's 5 minutes to go. So 1 minute to go. Don't worry too much and relax. You'll have time to finish it later if you're not happy completely. But this is just basically I give you we have an hour to for this workshop, and it's always good to just don't worry too much and then get stuck into it and just basically practice. And so when you have a limit of time, you basically skip certain doubts that you might have, and then you just get stuck into it, which helps to loosen a lot the line and loosen a lot the basically a lot of the anxiety or worries you might have against the white page. All right, 30 seconds to go. And we're done. Okay, so hope you're all happy with your triangle, square, or circle pirate. Obviously, it's difficult just to fit a character into one of those shapes, but as you saw before, you just use the overall shape just to help you to create most of the characters. So I went and I chose a circle, and here's the pirates. I guess most of you have gone for the same kind of archetype. So male pirate with his hat, with his hook, with his wooden leg, beard, eye patch, all the etc. So for our next exercise, we're going to change the character's sex. Okay, so this is the next exercise. Is you're going to use the same elements you have. If you've done a circle, you got a circle, same proportions, more or less same elements. Obviously, you're going to have to change certain things to make your character be a female. But this is the next exercise. So I'm going to start counting 10, and then I'm going to talk while you draw. I'm going to talk to you about gender on character design. So so you can just take the design you had, and if you're and make it a female. Okay. So starting, you have another 10 minutes, starting now. All right. So while you draw, I'll talk about gender on character design. If you go on Google pirate, all your image you're going to get, if it's drawing pirate or pirate character design, you're going to get more or less what I came up with here. That it's middle-aged, old man, ugly, and basically quite disabled, quite mutilated, and you get the R kind of look. But if you go and you Google female pirates, what do you get? You get basically a porn mag. You get sexy ladies with very short amounts of clothes. Suddenly the pirate's kind of leather jacket, it turns into lingerie. I don't know how they, it's good that for sailing. And then you realize it's mostly for female character designs, the sex is used to feminize a character. So we have had a long discussions and no problems, but challenges trying to create female characters, because as you can see here in the Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, Minnie Mouse is just Mickey Mouse with eyelashes and a fucking bow and high heels and the skirt. So it's, when you're designing a female characters, what do you do? Obviously, there's different basic differences, anatomical differences, and the biggest one obviously is breasts. Men and women used to have different body shapes, but that's if you go for a completely naturalistic. But if you most character designs, they're based on basic shapes. You have an oval, you have a square, you have basic shapes. But when designing for female characters, they tend to bump up anything that's is sexually explicit. So you have basically big boobs, you have obviously makeup. On women, it's a big thing. So you have big eyelashes, you have the red lips for lipstick, and other accessories. I'm like earrings, etc. So that's the dilemma. It's how you create a female character without falling into all these same kind of issues, etc. So I think basically how the voiceover plays a huge importance, and you can have a properly female character looking more androgynous, not having to put her a bow or having her eyelashes and feminize it explicitly. Women tend to have much softer features, smaller noses than men, bigger eyes, but not always. So it's a tricky one. So it's always a challenge when you design a character, just change it over into gender. It's a good exercise to see how we all think of the different gender. So we have 6 minutes to go. I hope your female pirate or male pirate, if you started with female pirate, are looking gorgeous or not. Obviously, for example, I did chose the circle, so I cannot change her body shape. It's going to be a circle. So so if my male pirate was ugly, chubby male pirate, that's why my female pirate is going to be. But as an exercise, it's a good challenge to just change sex, and also it just brings you awareness of the difference on gender character design. 5 minutes to go, and I'm going to shut up now. 1 minute to go. So 10 seconds. Start doing your final touches, and don't worry, you can keep drawing if you want until we get into this next exercise. So so I had, as you can see here, I had my my pirates with his beard, with his wooden leg and hook. So I wanted to keep that. I also I had to keep the same shape. So this is my female pirate, keeping the same proportions. Obviously, I had to give her boobs, and I wasn't going to give her very sexy boobs because it wouldn't work with her overall round shape, which is, you know, more an overweight. So to be consistent, and basically have an ugly Humpty Dumpty, female Humpty Dumpty with a wooden leg, but at least tried. You know, it was a challenge. I did this yesterday. It was a challenge just to try to get something that it wouldn't look like a drag queen. So I always found it's a good exercise. Just change the gender of your characters and see how, you know, which elements work and which not, and how we define the sexuality towards character design. So other point, we're going to start thinking on other points. We're going to, instead of doing one for each, I'm going to go through all those points, and then we'll do a final exercise with our character. So one important thing when you're creating your character design, especially when you're doing your portfolio and then you have or you're creating your character chart for animators, is, or for, you know, for the director to choose your character design, is the rhythm. Body is a full structure of bones and muscles and tendons, and it's never rigid. In fact, the static rigid pose is the most unnatural thing, only helped by soldiers when they're in front of the general. And you want your character to be alive, you want your character to be appealing, you need to offset that rigidness and give some rhythm. So this is something that you know, started the Greek sculptures started doing, and it's been in fashion since then. So a good way of giving your character life and is never have them completely rigid. That rigidness is only you only want to apply it when you're doing your turnaround, because then you want to show all the elements exactly how they work and all the body shape to the animator. But when you're preparing a character for show, you want movement, you want dynamism, you want something that is not rigid. And how's that's how the rhythm is very, very important. The other thing that's very important is expression. You can see here Ren and Stimpy, one of my favorite shows, and they basically mastered the expression of their characters. And I know we have, I don't know if you saw Flea, the interview with the people with Flea, and how subtlety play an incredible role on emotion for their characters. But in the same way that Picasso was a master painter before he started breaking the the rules and drawing things that you know, a child could draw, he did master, and then he know how to deconstruct. So in order to be able to play with incredible subtleties, you need to know exactly how push your expressions, and how the different shapes, and how much you can explore all that. So always play with your characters. Always, this is cartoons. This is the magic of cartoons, that you can break all the physical rules. So a good exercise I normally do is I choose an expression, and then I do that expression extreme, and then what I do is push it and say, can I push it? Can I, you know, make his eyes bulgier? Can I open more his mouth until basically becomes irrecognizable? Normally, this, you can push it much more than you always think you can. So here's an example of characters. When you're showing a certain character doing a expression chart, you want to push it, you know, the further. Here my character was constricted by a glass, so I couldn't push it too much, but that gave me a certain amount of playfulness with the glass. This is some work we did for Dennis the Menace, one of the extra, one of those how do you say it? Anyway, that's another. It's and I just lost my train of thought, as you can see, but no problem. We go back. So expression is we have rhythm, we have expression, and then we have dynamism. Dynamism comes from basically frozen movement. And the way to push that is, and to get your characters to be super dynamic, is by perspective. Here we have Mantegna and Jesus, and that this, which is badly painted, not badly painted, but you can see that the perspective is off, is broken. But that was the first time push perspective was done. I think it was 13th century, 14th century. But anyway, so you can see how by playing with your dynamic shapes and mastering the perspective on your characters, you can have a much alive and much more appealing character. So without further ado, we go into the third exercise. So you see your pirate, who is now a female or a male. You started with one gender, you change your gender of the character, and now you're going to get that character and you're going to pose it. So you're going to redraw it in a pose that is going to include rhythm, an expression, extreme expression, and certain dynamic perspective. Okay, so we're going to, what time it is now? Let me see. We're going to give you 15 minutes for this. And then we'll talk a bit about character design portfolios and how to use tricks and how basically to present your character designs in your portfolio when you're looking for a job. Okay, so I'm going to give you 15 minutes for your pose, so of your pirate, and starting now. Okay, so remember, rhythm comes by the juxtaposition of the body structure. You know, when you're bending, your hips go one direction, your shoulders go the other direction. The certain the curves, you have your arms, you have your legs. They're never parallel. They're always, one leg is getting more weight than the other. That works on your hips, and therefore you have your spine that also curves, and you always have to balance your hips with your shoulders. So it's certain amount of balance there that it's never static. So that's your rhythm, and you want your character not to be rigid. You want it with that movement that keeps. You want expression. Oh, you know, expressions come with so different elements, but obviously the main is the mouth. Your nose, you can play with your nose. Flared nose, more excited. Closed nose, etc. Eyes, it's a must for cartoony. You know, bulging eyes. You have the eyelids. You have the eyebrows, and you can also deform the face. You can also you know, play as well. When, you know, we're not going to do color here, but when you're working with color, expressions can be, you know, redness in the face can be added when, you know, somebody is shy, when somebody is upset, when somebody is very angry. You can also play with paleness when, you know, somebody is scared, is depressed, bluiness. So there's always things that you can also play with color, with an expression. And obviously a body pose is also a way to express things. You don't need always the facial features. Shoulders are very important for that, you know. Posture, it's very telling of, you know, what the character is feeling. You know, normally something that cocoons comes to themselves, you know, slumped. It's something that it's much more introverted. It's much more hurt, sad. Somebody whose posture is much more open, so with much more sure of himself. And then your dynamic perspective. You know, we're always moving. We're never, except for, you know, even when we're sleeping, you're moving. Even where you're lying down, you know, you're breathing. But mostly, you know, you're animating your characters. You want your going to bring this down. You want your characters to be alive, to show how much they can move, how well they can be posed. So when you're creating your characters, you're doing a character sheet to show your director, or to your portfolio, or just for your project. If you're going to pitch it, you know, if you have a nice poses, good expressions, something that really conveys your character's personality, you have a lot won there, you know. Because, you know, a good story coming with, you know, it's difficult to convey, but if you can help visualize your story, then you have so much won, you know. So that's why it's always, you know, you want to have some relaxed pose, but you want some dynamic poses, especially if your character is a ninja. You're not going to have it, you know, having a cup of tea, sitting down, or just standing up. You just want to have them, you know, in full swing. We have a pirate here, so, you know, it's not a very static profession. So, you know, you can draw in going to battle. You can draw in, you know, working in the ship. You can draw in your pirates having a drink in the tavern. Whatever, you know, you can imagine. All right, so we're 8 minutes. It's going to be then 7 minutes more. And so keep drawing. So 5 minutes to go. You see what we're doing here is just basically just few exercises and just more as a challenge, and that basically limits your options. So you have your shapes, then you have to change your sex, etc. So things like that. It's all kinds of challenges, all kinds of breaking your patterns. They're all always very beneficial, to your skills. And there's no magic trick to character design. There's just basically a lot of practice and observation. So have a look at great character designers and copy some of their characters. Keep drawing. Do as much challenges as you can. Push yourself. Get out with friends. Get that drawing club, and then somebody can just okay, let's draw this. So everybody has to come up with a different challenge or different twist on your character. So you keep doing this. It's a way of improving your skills much more than if you just basically leave it to to what you normally do. So it's just basically finding ways of pushing yourself on and keep drawing. I can't stress enough the sketchbook and how much that can can help on your skills. Unfortunately, nowadays we have so much entertainment at our hands. We have internet, we have phones, tablets, that you never have that kind of dead time we used to have a lot in train trips, in everywhere. So carry always a sketchbook, and if you have downtime, instead of checking your Facebook or Instagram or whatever, just do a drawing, just do a page, just no pressure. Your sketchbook doesn't have to look super professional. Just draw there, and you will see. Some days you will hate your what you're doing, but some days it will come out. You'll see progress. You'll do a character you love, and then you'll push here. You will find new ways of drawing. So it's just is keep drawing basically. 2 minutes to go. And we're done. We're done with that exercise. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. You can keep drawing if you want. But let's talk about. Well, let me show you. So that's what I did yesterday with the time frame. You can see the rhythm by the juxtaposition of. Obviously, she doesn't have any shoulders, but obviously that the line of the shoulders has been taken by her face, and you can see the curve and how whole body weight of her is on her right leg, and that makes the rhythm go towards her left leg. And you have the perspective, obviously, and the expression is self-explanatory, and don't need to do it. There could be another exercise here, like take your expression, push it further, and then once you're done, you push it further, etc. But we're not going to have time for that today. So let me have a quick chat about what we're looking for when we look at portfolios. So when we look for art department's portfolios, obviously, the more skilled a person is, the better, and that's how you show your images. Let me show you certain character pages. You can see here how beautifully presented this is, and you have your center pose with a bit of color, and then you have the rest of your poses. You don't need to go full body, you need to go all color, but you want to show your skills, you want to show that you can have dynamic poses, you want to show your expressions, and you want the personality and the character just to come up into your images. Show you a bit more here. You can see here, they have a color, but there's even sketches there. I found all these very quite beautiful and well presented. So you don't need to show 20 different characters. Always when you're showing you're doing your portfolio, you want little amounts, the best you can. Don't put exercises don't put things that you're not super happy with. You have to think that when we looking at portfolios, we're looking at a lot of them, and we have limited time. So you just want something that is going to bring out attention. So you don't need to show more than 4 or 5 backgrounds, or 4 or 3 or 4 character designs. If they're good, I'm sure I'll go and then check at your online portfolio, Behance, or your Instagram page or your web page, etc. And that's how so the portfolio that you send is kind of a door towards all your work. So it's basically the forefront of your story. You want your best things there. A bit more the show here. You can see we're talking about ninja. You have your character exposed here, and you have dynamism, you have expressions, you have you really want to see a show about this character. So that's pretty much what we have time for today. I think it's going to be Q&A in Discord. So I'm going to thank you all for attending and humoring me doing some sketches. And the same, just keep drawing, keep sketching, and make that makes you happy. And don't be afraid of the white page. Don't be afraid of, and just, you know, if you don't know what to design, just try to think of a word and then just make a character out of that. You'll see how much fun it is. And I think yes, 2 minutes more. So yes, I would like to thank Scott for being behind and organizing all this, and John Tennant, that is also going to be organizing the Discord Q&A. You can ask any question you have there, and if not, I wish you all a happy weekend and a happy festival. All right. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you.